Welcome to my Pagan Pathworks. My name is Lisa and I am the founder of the channel. If you're new to the channel, we invite you to like and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, then we welcome you back. In today's video, I am restarting my series where we discuss the tarot cards and learn more about their individual meanings. And because I'm a Libra and an air sign, I have chosen to start with the Suite of Swords. So if you're interested in learning more about the Ace of Swords, then stay tuned. Thank you for staying with me. Let's talk about the Suite of Swords for just a moment. So the swords are associated with the air signs of Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So it's related to air, and as they're related to air, the suite is more about our intellectual side. It's the way we communicate, it's our ability to comprehend any given situation. The cards can represent the conclusions to conflicts, and they also deal with the process of how we go about finding solutions to our problems. And they can illustrate conflicts within ourselves and with other people. So the aces as a whole for all the suites can also have meaning, and they correspond to the Kether in the Tree of Life in the Kabbalah. The Kether is the crown, or the first emanation of the divine spark. It's unity. So they also have a correspondence in numerology, and aces as the number 1 represents beginning and unity and leadership and individuality. So before we talk about anything else, I did want to show you each deck pretty much can have its own subtle nuances, but they share common imagery. And I'll show you. This one is from the Hanson Roberts deck, and this is from the Celtic Tarot. This one is from the Rider deck, and this one is from the Secrets of the Tarot. So the Rider is probably the deck that's been around the longest, and most of the other decks take their imagery from Rider. They all have the hand and the hand for the cloud, the sword, and the wreath. And each of these individual pieces or images have their own individual meaning that can help you assign meaning to the card. And most often it's in the wreath represents triumph, and the sword represents the intellect, and they have different meanings. This, however, is from the Tarot Draconis. It has its own unique imagery for this card. Now, if you're used to seeing this kind of imagery right here, it's going to be hard for you to assign meaning to this card unless you just know from study what the Ace of Cards means. And the books that come with these also have a little differing definitions of what the card means. The more you practice with the cards, the more you'll be able to assign meaning to it on your own. But for right now, we are going to talk about what I have discovered in my research for the Ace of Swords. And so for the Ace of Swords, because it's an ace, it's a beginning card, and It can be the start of the process of transforming an idea into action. This is where you're gathering in what you need intellectually, be that knowledge or preparation, whatever. It can be the beginning. It also can be a beginning of the changes in your ideas as a whole. With this card in the upright position, you're going to get a quick, logical solution to the problem at hand. Because with the Ace of Swords, it kind of cuts through anything that might interfere with or cloud your judgment. So it leaves little room for emotions. So there's no emotions about the Ace of Swords. It's just, here you are. This is the answer. So I'm working off notes, by the way. So let me change my page. So in the reverse position, this can be an indicator that we need to examine our ideas and our motives to make sure that we're not abusing the power that we have. Being too intellectual can lead to a blatant disregard for the thoughts of feelings for other people, for those closest to us. So balance is the key here. So if you're getting this card in reverse, the overall impression here is that it may be a victory, but it's going to be an empty victory. So make sure that you're balancing your emotions and your intellect, so you don't get this card in reverse. The keywords associated with the card are clarity, intelligence, ambition, and triumph. And that's where the wreath, I forgot what they call those. Anyway, that's an indicator of triumph. So in the upright position, it's like a guarantee of victory. So that is my opinion on the Ace of Swords. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the oracle decks, because the oracle decks really have their own meaning, and they don't necessarily correspond with tarot. They have their meaning according to the creator. The creator of the deck really assigns their meaning. But since I have 2 oracle decks and I need to learn them as well, I wanted to go ahead and share my opinions on those 2. So the first deck that I have is a Sacred Earth oracle deck, and the first card in that deck is Absence. Now this card really has a double meaning. On an earthly level, when we get this card, it's a reminder to stay present in the moment. It's a reminder to focus on the things we want instead of the things that we don't want. It's a reminder to focus on the solution. And if we stay in the moment and we let go of our agendas and the stress and the mask we wear, and seek that inner space. I'm probably not explaining this very well, so let me just read what I wrote. The first deck that I have is the Sacred Earth Oracle. Its very first card is Absence. And this card has a double meaning, both spiritual and earthly. On an earthly level, when we get this card, it's a reminder to stay present in the moment and let go of agendas, stress, or the mask we wear. It is a reminder also to focus on the things we do want instead of the things that are absent or what we don't want. On a spiritual level, it is a reminder that darkness is just the absence of light. when we seek that dark inner space of the soul in meditation, it both nurtures and heals in a way we might not realize. We all need the dark to grow as much as we need the light. And so on the spiritual side, it's more or less about the absence of light and how darkness just is. So, and how we can, when we seek that inner stillness in the dark, it can help our soul grow. So I really appreciated the meaning of that card. The second deck that I have is the Celtic Tree Oracle deck. And the first card in that deck, and these are actually numbered. And the really interesting thing about this particular Oracle deck is it is based on the Irish Ogham. So it's sacred plants because it's the Celtic Tree Oracle deck. Man, that's a mouthful. But it also teaches you the Ogham alphabet and its corresponding sacred tree. So in this case, the number 1, that little mark that's right there, that is the letter in the Ogham alphabet. So it's really cool. So the name is Baith. The name of that letter is Baith, if I'm saying it right. And the tree here is birch. And these cards are actually numbered, so you can get a bit of a correspondence there. And let me just read what I wrote. So each card has a sacred tree or plant and a letter of the Ogham. Ogham is an ancient form of Irish writing. It's also important to note that traditionally, for the Irish and many other Celtic nations, and we're not talking present day, we're talking ancient, the darkness came before the light. Therefore, this first card is representative of beginnings and the dark time of the year. It corresponds to the month of November, and the sacred tree for this card is the birch, and the letter is B or Baith. The card actually stands for new beginnings. The dark time of the year is usually when we are taking stock of what's happened in the last year and perhaps planting the seeds for what we hope to accomplish in the coming year. If we should get this card in reverse, it is an indication that we have some work to do to get things right before we start something new. We've left loose ends untied, and we need to get our stuff together before we begin again. So in the Sacred Earth, she does not give reverse meanings, but they do in the Celtic Tree deck. So that about sums up our discussion of the aces and the Ace of Swords. So next week we will talk about the Two of Swords. Anyway, I hope you'll join us next Tuesday for another version of Tarot Tuesday. In the meantime, I thank you very much for watching and have a great day.